In a similar way, an architect asked us to look at this situation. He was building this building and had what we call a gas government compound. So ugly bits of kind of city infrastructure where the gas gets processed to the city. And what they thought they wanted, was a fence that went around that to disguise it. So they thought, we'll get an artist to do it. And we said to them, okay, yeah, we'll take that commission, we'll work with you on it. But it seemed to us that the problem was a bit wider than just trying to hide. Because when you try and hide something, you reveal it all the more. You show what you're trying to hide. So we looked at these little pockets of space. What do you call them, Charles? You have a better word than pockets of space. No? And these little areas which didn't have any clear character. And I suppose it's a kind of design issue, really. But we wanted to try and see if we could unite these different areas in an overall treatment to expand what we were looking at. Again, we were looking at whenever you're talking to the city council, you call them ruderal plants, which just means weeds. But we were looking at the weeds in that situation, and we found that there was one particular plant that only grew there and in South America as a result of the slave trade 200 years ago. And this plant continues to grow along the dockside, but as part of the regeneration, the space for that to exist was going to be taken away. So we wanted to reintroduce that or find a place with it within the new building. So we proposed what we called the urban parterre, which was using the formal pattern as you might find in a classic French house outside the front with box hedging all around. And we wanted to plant it with these rural plants, allow that space within the new development. So this is just it only went up a few months ago. So this is the beginning of those patterns. So it includes the roads, it includes the paths, and over time these plants will grow knee height, maybe higher. And you'll have this diverse mix of vegetation crossing in this new development.
Now,
sure.
Was that a space where cars cross? Did
Yes.
I see? Okay, so the road knee high where the cars don't fall down.
Exactly, and also this is a sidewalk here, so the same thing will happen as foot traffic. So we worked very closely with the city about what was acceptable and what wasn't, and how they felt about traffic over that area. We're quite comfortable with the disturbance and the difference in its growth. This was sorry, I've been to Batman Bridge. No.
There was another project where we've been part of the design team looking at a public space, again in Bristol. And we were asked to look at the space surrounded in red because the landscape architect wasn't satisfied with the idea he had. So he brought us on board to look again at the design for it from the first day. And we were quite interested in not just designing it in an aesthetic fashion, but thinking again about how public spaces are used and how uses are divided. And we looked at how it would behave in a natural landscape where there's a mountain naturally go on top, or when the space is slightly concave, like in this public square in Siena, people tend to sit because it's kind of natural amphitheater. So we looked at volumes of public spaces and how volumes can generate users as well as mix all the different regulations that you'd have, because the space goes down to you have wheelchair access, road access, pedestrian access, bike access will all be separate normally, so we try to bring them all together.
The important part of this project was that we, so often as an artist who brought in at the end of a project, you're not allowed to be involved in the thinking about the space. So with this, when we were commissioned to do it, there was something like a 2-week design period. And we said to the commissioner, well, we'd like several months to work with the landscape architect and the architect and the engineer to find a solution for the space. So we extended that crossover period where we learned about each other's practice. So this is a flat, currently it isn't getting built because of the downturn. So they need to sell all of these buildings before they can build this bit. But for us it was quite an important illustration of that idea of a design process where you were brought in at the beginning.
And if you go to the next one. The artwork is not necessarily visible because the landscape architect has as much to do in the design of the evidence as the artist. And it's often a problem when an artist is involved in the design team, the commissioner or the client wants to see what the art is. And in this case, you can't say who did what. But at the same time, the result is much richer than if you just had one person doing something and the other one decorating it.